everybody. Good afternoon. Peace. The abolitionist picnic site. It is believed that the abolitionist gathering site at Nelson's Grove stretched from the open field, now the Catholic Church parking lot, down to the Mill River at the bottom of Nelson Street. Next door at 155 Hopedale Street is an original community house that may have been used to house anonymous visitors. This is something that Anna Thwing Field wrote in Hopedale Reminiscence, and I'm going to read it now. It was our custom at Hopedale as radical abolitionists to celebrate from year to year the anniversary of the emancipation of 800,000 slaves to the British West Indies. This was done in a pleasant grove near the southerly borders of our domain, half a mile from the central part of our village. Annually in August, in a small pine grove, Hopedale had an anti-slavery meeting. I remember many earnest men and women who spoke from the platform. William Lloyd Garrison was always present. Frederick Douglass, a colored man who was an escaped slave, was an interesting speaker. I well remember the black man of large stature who was called Henry Box Brown. He was a slave who had come all the way from the South, sent by friends in a dry goods box with holes in the cover and labeled "This side up, with care." Many escaped slaves lived in the families of Hopedale. My father had a colored man called John who did some work about the place, but never went alone from the house. Several others who lived among us for weeks or months. They were fed, clothed, and sheltered. We knew them and saw them moving in and out, one day here, the next gone. So that's a bit of history as the beginnings of the abolitionist picnics that would be held every year in Hopedale back in the days of Aiden Ballou in the early Hopedale community. The Friends of Aiden Ballou welcome you here today. And thank you for coming to continue this tradition. This is, for the past few years, we've had this picnic here at the Aiden Ballou Memorial Park on the corner of Peace Street and Hopedale Street, a great spot for a memorial park to Aiden Ballou. We have an exciting program today. We'll start with some music.
The first song I'll do is an original. Doesn't have a title, but it'd be good for a peace picnic such as this one. So here we go. I don't wanna be you, acting like a fool, believing all those things you're thinking. It's all true when it's all so broken. They don't know where to start. Put it all back together and they watch it fall apart. And they try to justify all those lies that they told, all those lies that they told. It makes me so sick, just the thought that some of these people are getting so mistaught with the media blowing things so out of proportion, with all the crazy lies all the extortion, haven't here. People filled with fear, it's so ridiculous. Thanks. And this next one's a Bob Marley song. It's a redemption song. It's about slavery and struggle, and another fitting song for a peace picnic. Yes, they're all by, sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my head was made strong by the end of the Almighty, and flowered in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever heard, redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. Nothing but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy, no, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our purpose while we stand aside and learn? They say it's just a part of it. I say we got to fulfill it. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever heard, redemption songs. Songs of freedom, 'cause all I ever heard. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, no, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and learn? They say it's just a part of it. I say we gotta fulfill it. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I
sure we all miss Jean Kinney, who ought to be here. I hope she's listening. We had a memorial meeting for worship with her at the Uxbridge Friends Meeting House a few weeks ago. Perhaps she'll listen to The Box. Once upon a time, in the land of Hushabye, around about the wondrous days of yore, they came across a kind of box, bound up with chains and locked with locks, and labeled, "Kindly do not touch, it's war." A decree was issued roundabout, all with a flourish and a shout, and a gaily colored mascot tripping lightly on before. "Don't fiddle with this deadly box, or break the chains, or pick the locks, and please don't ever play about with war." The children understood. Children happened to be good, and they were just as good around the time of yore. They didn't try to pick the locks or break into that deadly box. They never tried to play about with war. Mommies didn't either. Sisters, aunts, grannies, neither, 'cause they were quiet and sweet and pretty in those wondrous days of yore. Well, very much the same as now, and not the ones to blame somehow for opening up that deadly box of war. But someone did. Someone battered in the lid and spilled the insides out across the floor. A kind of bouncy bumpy ball made up of guns and flags, and all the tears and horrors and death that comes with war. It bounced right out and went bashing all about, bumping into everything in store. And what was sad and most unfair was that it didn't seem to care much who bumped it or why or what or for. It bumped the children mainly, and I'll tell you this quite plainly. It bumps them every day and more and leaves them dead and burned and dying. Thousands of them sick and crying, 'cause when it bumps, it's really very sore. Now there's a way to stop the ball. It isn't difficult at all. All it takes is wisdom. And I'm absolutely sure we can get it back into the box and bind the chains and lock the locks. But no one seems to want to save the children anymore. Well, that's the way it all appears, 'cause it's been bouncing around for years in spite of all the wisdom whizzed since those wondrous days of yore, and the time they came across the box, bound up with chains and locked with locks and labeled, "Kindly do not touch, it's war."
Thank you, Clarence. It's been a long time since I've heard that poem. I had mentioned that I was going to read a poem by Hopedale's poet laureate, Abby Hills Price, so I'm going to do that right now. It's untitled. The sunny isles are freedom's own, where once the tyrant stood. She reared her banner, dashed his throne, with power, but not with blood. Oh no, the songs we hear today are all unmixed with woe. True freedom has no war array, in pure her blessings flow. But oh my country, not for thee, those songs now fill the air. To slavery thou hast bowed the knee, deaf to the suppliant's prayer. The pall of death has closed around, the heavens are dark above. In league with tyrants thou art found, where is thy boasted love? Thy boasted love for liberty, alas how vainly said, while millions now are doomed by thee, oppression's veil to tread. Sorrow and sighing, grief and woe, the fetter and the chain, are all imbruted man can know, to die for him is gain. Sad genius of Columbia mourn, o'er thy degraded brave, weep that thy flag so proudly borne, yet rustles o'er the slave. My country hast to wipe the stain from off thy dark star-decked brow. Look to the islands of the main and make thy offering now. That's from the Practical Christian, August 5th, 1843. Patricia Hatch will read If There Is to Be Peace in the World by Lao Tse.
If there is to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the nations. If there is to be peace in the nations, there must be peace in the cities. If there is to be peace in the cities, there must be peace between neighbors. If there is to be peace between neighbors, there must be peace in the home. If there is to be peace in the home, there must be peace in the heart.
For the past 2 years, the Friends of Aiden Ballou have held a peace essay contest for teens. And last year we had several entries, and Jagarth Kumar, Jake Kumar came and read his peace essay. This year we had, I think, almost 30 or over 30 entries. And we are honored this year to have our first prize winner, Janelle Wheeler, here. Janelle Wheeler is a junior from Auburn, Massachusetts. At Auburn High, she's a member of Model UN and principal clarinetist for various music ensembles. Furthermore, since her freshman year, Janelle has been a first-team All-Star selection while playing first singles for Auburn varsity tennis team. She also tutors, co-hosts a radio show for the blind, and volunteers at her church and local libraries. She also has written and illustrated a children's story called The Ice Cream Challenge about prejudice and discrimination, and presents her book and its message throughout the community. In addition, she has earned the Girl Scouts Gold Award, the highest award in Scouting. Janelle has been recognized for her writing at both the state and national level in the Scholastic Art and Writing Awards for the last 4 years. Furthermore, she was a first-place national winner in Amnesty International's 2011 Change Our World Essay Contest. For her peacemaking efforts in 2012, Janelle received the John Leary Youth Peacemaker Award and from Pax Christi, Massachusetts, and the Youth Leader Award from Worcester Center for Nonviolent Solutions. This year, Janelle, is it Janelle? I hope it's Janelle, right? Thank you. Janelle was the Massachusetts state winner of the prestigious National Peace Essay Contest and participated in a 5-day award program in Washington, D.C. We are very honored to have Janelle here today. Can you please come up and read your winning essay for us?
Hi everyone. So my essay is called What Peace Means to Me. We may not agree on exactly what peace is, but one thing's clear: we need it. We need peace to be a verb, a noun, and an adjective. We need to make peace, have peace, and be peaceful in our homes, communities, and the world at large. World peace is the ultimate wish of most, but what does it really mean? Is it the absence of war and violence? Yes, but it is also the cultivation of a compassionate, respectful society. Often the rallying cries for world peace are dismissed as an unattainable, unrealistic, utopian ideal. Though conflict is inevitable, the visionaries of our world would argue that peace is not only possible, but imperative. History is too often depicted as a succession of bloody battles forged by ruthless aristocrats. In reality, however, it is a product of those who cried out against injustice and labored for peace. Well-known figures like Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King Jr. successfully wielded the power of nonviolence. Additionally, ordinary citizens have dissented as abolitionists, like Aidan Ballou, as unionists, as protesters, and as activists, shaping our world not with weapons, but with words, ideas, and movements. Being a peacemaker means being true to yourself and offering your gifts to the community. It means loving everyone. And it means knowing that not only is peace a verb, noun, and adjective, but it is real. Peace can be attained if we, like those before us, work for it. We have to. Thank you.
We had a first prize winner, a second prize winner, a third prize winner, and 2 honorable mentions. So that was a really successful peace essay contest, and we were really happy with the turnout. I think next on my list, Michael Kinney. Do you have something you'd like to read? Michael Kinney is Gene Kinney's son, and we're really happy to have him here and his family here today.
Hi everyone. It's great to be here today. I know that my mother is definitely smiling down upon this gathering today. And it's great to be here. This is my daughter Ava. Here. Deep peace of the running wave to you. Deep peace of the flowing air to you. Deep peace of the quiet earth to you. Deep peace of the shining stars to you. Deep peace of the infinite peace to you. Adapted from Under a Dark Star. Thank you.
Okay, well, we pretty much at this point have an open mic for anybody who wants to come up and give a peace poem, recite a peace poem, sing a song, make a social justice statement. I do have some poems. If you'd like to take a look through a packet of poems that we have, I can bring those around. There's also other peace essays, winning essays that could be read. Is there a volunteer who'd like to come up now? And Elaine Malloy.
Hi out there. Well, I was the director at the Bancroft Library for 12 years. I first became aware of the abolitionist movement, really, when a woman called. She lived down south. She was doing her doctoral dissertation, and she asked me if I knew where Liberty Grove or Sweet Pine Grove was. That's where the abolitionists met. So I immediately got into the Practical Christian, found it was half-mile south of the village. I got in my car and went down, and that's where I first really became interested in the history of Hopedale. But I just wanted to say that I really think Jean is looking down on us today. I remember when she first came to Hopedale, she came in and told me about her vision to establish the Friends of Aidan Ballou. I wholeheartedly supported her in that, and the Friends used to meet at the library. And God love you, Jean. We'll always remember you.
Thank you, Elaine. Dan Malloy?
So if Elaine's going to get up here, so will I. But the good news, folks, is I'm not going to read all of this that I have in my hand here. First, I'd like to mention that Tony earlier read from Anna Thwing Field from Hopedale Reminiscences, and we can say that the Thwing home where Anna grew up, that from what she said would actually qualify as an Underground Railroad house, is within our site. It's the red house right over there. It has a somewhat convoluted history because it wasn't there at the time. It was about 100 yards that way on the corner of Hope and Hopedale Streets. But in 1863, an event occurred, and I'm just going to read a little from History of the Hopedale Community by Ballou about that. In the summer of 1863, one of our faithful and worthy members, J. Lowell Haywood, was drafted into the military service of the United States under the Conscription Act of March in that same year. This was a sore trial and a cause of much anxiety to himself and family, and scarcely less so to all the rest of us. That he could not enter the army and serve as a soldier there was a foregone conclusion. The only question was whether he should pay the prescribed $300 commutation money, as the law allowed him to do, or to submit to such military penalties as must be pronounced against him, however severe they might be. Public opinion among us was divided upon that question. A strong feeling prevailed that absolute consistency required that he should suffer a heroic personal martyrdom and thus bear the most effective testimony to his religious principles. But it was also thought that the commutation money might be paid by himself and his friends in good conscience and without blame if done under protest. And it goes on to some length here, and there's several paragraphs by Haywood himself on this. And eventually, Ballou has, I want to finish up just what he says later, thinking on this later years as he read, as he thought about, and he's writing History of Hopedale Community many years later. Upon more deliberate and dispassionate examination of this whole matter, I had serious misgivings as to the rightfulness of the course that was pursued. The protest, though inherently just and good, was too weak to meet the moral exigency of the case and produce salutary results. The spirit of conscienceless domination, which tramples on such sacred scruples and rights as the document enumerates, seemed to require a more stringent moral resistance in order to be made to feel its culpability and to be brought to repentance in order to be regenerated. So, and he goes on a bit further, but anyway, I just wanted to bring out there's some history right here and right around us, right next to us, and right on this site where the Ballou home once stood until moved up to where Jean lived until last year. These conflicts and these difficulties are all around us.
Patricia, do you have something else to read?
Sure, I'll read another one.
Great. Anybody want to take a look through a packet of poems? Raise your hand and I'll bring one out to you.
I selected this reading because I think it relates to the intersection of peace and creativity. I think some people have the idea that peace is boring, but I think peace and creativity when they're vitally connected are anything but boring. This is called You Have the Right to Make the World Beautiful by Alan Barish. You have the right to make the world beautiful. It's your right by birth. You have the right to make the world hospitable to all forms of life. You have the right to be creative and build a planet that corresponds with your highest and boldest aspirations. You have the right to make the world beautiful and the right to create this beauty by any means necessary. So let us go and make creative peace.
We're also going to now hear the second prize winner of the Friends of Aiden Ballou Peace Essay Contest. Second prize winner was Maya Hibbett. I don't think Maya is here today. She's from Upton, Mass. Loves reading, writing, languages, and horses. She rides competitively as part of a show team that specializes in eventing, which is the kind of riding that competes in 3 phases: dressage, stadium jumping, and cross-country jumping. Once a week, Maya goes to another barn where she volunteers with therapeutic riding. She helps with farm chores and helps by leading horses and sidewalking for kids with mental and physical disabilities, including autism, Down syndrome, and cerebral palsy. So Michelle, you want to come up and read Maya's essay?
This is called Peaceful Expression. And she starts her essay with a quote by J.D. Salinger. The mark of the immature man is that he wants to die nobly for a cause, while the mark of a mature man is that he wants to live humbly for one. And Maya writes, a peaceful environment is not necessarily one that is always tranquil and free of conflict, but rather one that is cohesive, one that works. Therefore, peace means not necessarily the absence of all violence and negative sentiments, but rather an acceptance of existing circumstances and the ability to live and work despite them. Accepting given conditions does not correlate to do nothing to change them. The push for change can and should exist within peace, simply in a non-aggressive manner. For years, artists and writers have expressed their dissatisfaction through their works while still allowing the world around them to keep turning in harmony. Pablo Picasso, for example, illustrated with his famous painting Guernica the effect of German bombing during the Spanish Civil War. In doing so, he recognized a problem and tackled it without the use of aggression. Similarly, J.D. Salinger addressed skewed values and judgments of society in his satirical novel, The Catcher in the Rye. Through his character Holden Caulfield, he expressed his disdain for society and its relationship with adolescence without taking hasty or extreme action. In my opinion, peace is the ability to do just that. Observe where problems lie and point out the need for change with calm acceptance rather than violent raucous. The fight for peace contradicts itself.
Thank you, Michelle. So, as promised, we're going to have some music from some local celebrities. Bill Wright came last year and read his song Boundaries. It was very moving, and this year he brought his band along. I'm going to let him introduce them himself. They're going to sing Boundaries. They're going to play Boundaries, and they're also going to play, was it Open My Eyes? Is that right? So let's have applause for Bill Wright and his band.
We aren't quite that local. I'm down here from the Canadian border in Vermont. Dave is from Mendon, that's fairly local. And Buzz lives out in Spencer, so where are we, guys? We were a band 30 or 40 years ago. We pulled it back together again 20 years ago, and once in a while we managed to bump into each other. It's nice to be back in Hopedale, my old stomping ground, my old neighborhood.
And this one I heard, we had written songs for years and years, protest songs, whatever, love songs. And when the song you're about to hear that Bill was going to do, when he wrote that back in 1989, I just dropped everything I was doing. I said, "You have nailed it. You have written your masterpiece." And he's a local, you know, he's from Hopedale. He loves Hopedale. He does things, projects for Draper, trying to renew the old, keep things going. And what you guys are doing is great, because not many towns are doing this. I come from Whitensville originally, and they don't do this. It's just a sad thing that we're gonna let all our traditions go. So what you're doing, hopefully it grows and grows and grows, and the younger people, it's nice to see younger people. And let's hope that just keeps going, because you need a round of applause for what you're doing in the town. This is my great friend, one of my oldest friends, Bill Wright.
Knock off the age jokes. As three men sailed to keep their date with history. Apollo turned her cameras home, and in the darkness this old hailer shone so peacefully, so beautifully. Mountains that we knew were there, white clouds suspended in the air were over me. They shadow me. We saw these things and we saw the seas, but one thing that we could not see were the boundaries. Boundaries. They say their gods laid down their boundaries. Lebanon, Christians worship with their buns and their bombs. Amen. Boundaries. Down and they cry in shame at what is being done in their holy names. That he's quite a brown when it's a bullet that brought him down and his blood pools round. He never knew that crossing the street meant crossing a boundary. I with history, with destiny. Apollo turned the cameras home, and in the stars, the so pale shone so peacefully, deceptively. The gods look down and they cry in shame at what is being done in their holy name. Thank you.
Bill Wright.
Buzz wrote something in very much the same vein named Open My Eyes. Wrote this several years ago. I hadn't heard it till we went to a recording session, and wow. Speaking of which, we've got copies of the CD over there for sale. Feel free to step up and buy one. We'll have songs about, let's see, we've got Boundaries is on there. Sleepy Little Town is on there, a song about Hopedale. And Open My Eyes is on there. And Buzz will be with us in just a second. We tune because we care. Or they tune because they care.
It doesn't do well having the guitar sit outside for a length of time. Oh well, we get through it. Moscow lies in a restless sleep as freedom struggles to its feet. In Johannesburg, a baby's tears recall the pain of her parents' fears. Open my eyes, yeah, American cities unsafe at night. The safe dance rule neath the neon light. Open my eyes. Both Arab and Jew still draw the line in a tug of war called Palestine. Open my eyes. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The world turns in mysterious ways. Is it spinning through its final phase? Can we bear the weight of freedom's cross for every person who is lost? Let their gallant souls rise. Open my eyes. Ways is it spinning through its final phase? Can we bear the weight of freedom's cross for every person who is lost? Let their gallant souls rise. Open my eyes. Dallas and John F. Kennedy to Ken stayed through Haight-Ashbury. Open my eyes. In Vietnam they could not explain why so many died in vain. Couldn't open their eyes. Yeah, yeah. In a marathon went deathly wrong. Now we're standing Boston strong. Open my eyes. Open my eyes. Open my eyes. Open my eyes. Open my eyes.
Nice
Well,
one,
thank you
Buzz.
very much. Appreciate that.
Thanks very much. It's nice to be back.
Okay, thank you so much. They'll be back in a little bit with one or two more songs. Also, don't forget that there's some CDs for sale. It's over on the table. Just check with us if you're interested. Julia and Sarah Kinney, I think you guys have something to read. Granddaughters of Gene Kinney.
Hi, I'm Julia. This is my sister Sarah. Thanks for having us today. This is fun. This is a poem written by Cappy Hall Rearick, and it's called We Interrupt This War. We interrupt this war for doctors to heal, teachers to teach, and students to learn. We interrupt this war to marvel at sunsets, listen to music, and to laugh. We interrupt this war for poets to rhyme, sculptors to chisel, and writers to paint pictures with words. We interrupt this war to plant tomatoes, mow the grass, and to smell the roses. We interrupt this war to feed the hungry, build new schools, and stamp out ignorance. We interrupt this war to clean up the air, save the whales, and to find a cure for cancer. We interrupt this war to rebuild New Orleans, tickle babies, and for world peace. We interrupt this war for PTA meetings, band concerts, and high school graduations. We interrupt this war for Girl Scout cookies, church bake sales, and the Special Olympics. We interrupt this war for Disneyland, the World Series, and the Super Bowl. We interrupt this war for Halloween candy, Thanksgiving turkey, and 4th of July fireworks. We interrupt this war for Hanukkah, Christmas, and Kwanzaa. We interrupt this war to bring sons, daughters, sisters, and brothers home. We interrupt this war to hear a message from our sponsor, Thou Shalt Not Kill.
This is a poem by a woman of Bristol, Rhode Island. How beautiful upon the mountains, how beautiful upon the downs, how beautiful in the village post office, on the pavements of the towns, how beautiful in the huge print of newspapers, beautiful while telegraph wires hum, while telephone bells wildly jingle, the news that peace has come. That peace has come at last, that all wars cease. How beautiful upon the mountains are the footsteps of the messengers of peace.
Thank you very much, Julia and Sarah. Is Robbie Aziz here? No, Robbie won our third prize in the peace essay contest. I'm going to go ahead and read his essay. Peace is defined as a state of harmony free from fear and violence. As Mahatma Gandhi led his peaceful protest against the British, I too wish to bring peace to my community. Peace is attained through actions that refute negativity and immoral behavior deemed unethical. I would stand by one teaching that has grown through almost every human: love. By treating individuals and the environment surrounding me with love continually, I will successfully keep peace. Gandhi's love for India and his fellow man gave him great triumph in achieving a more peaceful life for Indians. Life is compassion and gratitude towards the actions, positive or negative, of our peers. Love is taking care of our properties, our land, and our world. By participating in acts of love, I will, as Gandhi, led a protest solely for the sake of peace. Countries such as my own, Egypt, are all searching for this same peace we all long for. As a member of society, in order to return the peace to such a massive revolution is by showing my love toward all Egyptians, Christians or Muslim, and by respecting the land they call home. Love is a way of life, and to keep peace, love must be attained by all individuals, including myself. What will I do for peace? I will, as Christ tells us, love your neighbors as yourself. Do we have anybody else who wants to come up and read something? No? We had two third place winners. The other third place, Dimitri Chokshi Fox, and his essay is entitled Peace. True peace is fleeting. Lasting peace is impossible. Close your eyes for a moment or two and remember the last time you were at peace, when you were truly content with yourself and your surroundings. You can't remember an exact moment, can you? Neither can I. Society, since before we were even out of the womb, has been conditioning us to want, to need, to be uncontent. What does advertising do? What was the purpose of the Coke commercials that you just watched earlier? To make you want a Coke. Consider what a lifetime of this effect, duplicated for every advertisement you have ever seen, does to the psyche. It feeds an addiction, a dependency on artificially created needs, wants, and desires. The shopaholics among us are just the ones more prone to the symptoms of the addiction. Why did I just buy that American Eagle shirt? So I can look better for someone else? This is not peace. We are not at peace. Nirvana, according to the Oxford Dictionary, is a transcendent state in which there is neither suffering, desire, nor sense of self. This is peace. This is freedom from desire. There is no desire, there is no clashing desire, and hence no conflict. To achieve peace, I will personally work to transcend desire. I will strive for a simple life, as Aidan Ballou did in his utopian community. I will achieve personal space, and hence invite my fellow man to do the same. Peace out. Okay, do you want to read something? Janelle?
So this poem is called Where Does Peace Start by Judy Puckett. He looked me in the eye, and then he told me his heart. He said, I cry like you cry, and I'm afraid of the dark. He said, I'd like to put this gun down and go home today, but it seems that war won't go away. He said, I bleed like you bleed, and it tears me apart. I need to know, where does peace start? He said, I cry like you cry, as I watch your flag fly. He looked me in the eye, and he told me his heart. And then he said, where does peace start? Thank you.
There were also 2 honorable mention essays. I'll read the one from Ariana Bonito called What I Will Do for Peace. Peace is more than just the absence of war. It is also the creation of conditions associated with the ethics that promote harmony. It requires purpose joined with action. The size of your action is not important, but your motivation to act is everything. So live by example. The first step of bringing peace is making peace with yourself. How can you expect to do anything in the name of peace if you are constantly at war with yourself? Love thy neighbor as thyself. Forgive and forget no matter what comes around. Remember that life's too short to dwell. The world is a selfish place and no one is perfect. To ease the tension of a harsh future, I will do my part, helping not only the less fortunate, but also myself in hopes that someday I may be able to pass on what I have learned about the world and myself to the next generation. Kofi Annan says, there is no trust more sacred than the one the world holds with children. There is no duty more important than ensuring that their rights and welfare is protected, and that their lives are free from fear and want, and that they grow up in peace. As human beings, we have the right and privilege to pursue happiness and live free in peace. We are in charge of personifying that 5-letter word. We are the future of peace. I am and will be peace. Another opportunity for anybody out there to come up and read something, or just share your thoughts. Don't be shy. Okay, well, okay, great. We have somebody coming up.
Hello, I'm Teresa Wheeler, Janelle Wheeler's mom, and I have a poem that I've always enjoyed, and I think it fits with the day. It's in the spirit of ecumenism, and I think Aiden Ballou would enjoy this one, and it's by Leigh Hunt, called Abu Ben Adam. And it's Abu Ben Adam, may his tribe increase, awoke one night from a deep dream of peace, and saw within the moonlight in his room, making it rich and like a lily in bloom, an angel writing in a book of gold. Exceeding peace had made Ben Adam bold, and to the vision in the room he said, "What writest thou?" The vision raised his head, and with a look made of all sweet accord answered, "The names of those who love the Lord." "And is mine one?" said Abu. "Nay, not so," replied the angel. Abu spoke more low. "Cheerily still," he said, "I pray thee then, write me as one who loves his fellow men." The angel wrote and vanished. The next night he came again with a great wakening light, and showed the names whom love of God had blessed. And lo, Ben Adhem's name led all the rest. Thanks.
Thank you. That was great. It was recited from memory. That's wonderful. Okay. Anybody else? I'm gonna read the last peace essay then, and then I think we'll have some more music. So here's our second honorable mention by Ashlyn Kalianos. I think that's how you pronounce the last name. Simplicity is sublime. Recalling a time of adversity is a simple matter. Perhaps this is why the world is so full of it. Historically, adversity has always been a means to achieve glory. Great warriors from countless ancient civilizations, the Romans, the Mayans, the Native Americans, carried scars from battle to prove their worthiness of power. This trend continues into the modern era. Some of our greatest heroes are soldiers, men who are brave enough to risk their lives to save many. Perhaps, if more emphasis is placed on the glory of a time of peace, the need for fighters so readily give up their lives will be less. A simple step towards this peacefulness is the recognition of the beauty of the simplest things. Recognition of the sublime beauty of quiet acts of peace is the first step towards a peaceful existence. This is something I can do. An act of peace could be something as small as giving a smile, a helping hand, or a listening ear to someone in need. Friends, family members, and strangers alike all have their own personal struggles to deal with. Perhaps by uplifting them and demonstrating how peace can be sought with ease, others will then be more inclined to do the same. A chain of straightforward, peaceful actions could eventually grow to a size so great that it could not be ignored. Through unity, we may all eventually be able to see past our scars and appreciate the peace that lies just ahead, waiting to be discovered. So that was the I guess it was 5 or 6 winning essays from this year's Peace Essay Contest. I want to remind you that those were all written by teens ages 13 to 17. Some really profound thoughts, some really wonderful thoughts, and it was a pleasure reading through them all. So would anybody else like to get up and read another poem? So this is Lily.
You have the right. You have the right to make the world beautiful, by Alain Barsh. You have the right to make the world beautiful. It's the right by birth. You have the right to make the world hospitable to all forms of life. You have the right to be creative and build a planet that corresponds with the highest and boldest aspirations. You have the right to make the world beautiful and the right to create the beauty by any means necessary.
Patricia, are you interested in reading The Vine and the Fig Tree? Or is that handy?
If you give me a second of this.
Okay, that'd be great. And we have another person ready to read a poem. Just washing down the peanut butter, she said. Yeah, the Vine and Fig Tree is also the name of the Friends of Aiden Ballou newsletter.
And this was adapted from Micah 4:3-4, a passage in the Hebrew Scriptures of the Old Testament. And I believe it was one of Aiden Ballou's favorite passages. This is adapted. And every one neath a vine and fig tree shall live in peace and unafraid. And into plowshares turn their swords. Nations shall learn war no more. The plowshares turned into swords. It's a beautiful image. And maybe hold that image and think about how we can create peace. Even though most of us don't have plowshares now, but there are other things in our lives that we can turn into peace. So let's hold that image in our hearts.
Mary Helen, you want to come and read some Yeats for us? Or Yates?
The Rose of Peace by William Butler Yeats. If Michael, leader of God's host, when heaven and hell are met, looked down on you from heaven's doorpost, he would his deeds forget. Brooding no more upon God's wars in his divine homestead, he would go weave out of the stars a chaplet for your head. And all folk seeing him bow down, and white stars tell your praise, would come at last to God's great town, led on by gentle ways. And God would bid his warfare cease, saying all things were well, and softly make a rosy peace, a peace of heaven with hell.
Okay, now it's time for some more music. You guys ready?
Again, it's real nice to be back here, and it is very exciting for us old goats to see the younger people writing poetry, understanding the whole notion of peace. It's the world they're inheriting from us. I'm sure you want to say, well, you're welcome or thanks, but it's the world we live in. I also find it amusing that so many of our peaceful thoughts, peaceful words are from the Bible, and yet, as in boundaries, the gods look down and they cry in shame at what is done in their holy names. I'm trying to find passages where it says, go out and kill everybody. They aren't there. The Quran, the Torah, doesn't say that. There's more about brotherhood, being kind, cooperation. Somebody ain't getting the message. Well, for the love of God, I'm running out of... The sun came up on a sleepy little town one morning, and the fathers walked down the hill to the factory. And the school bell rang, and we all sang America the Beautiful. The kids in school, the fathers with their tools, were a way of life, our golden rule in a sleepy little town every morning. We all walked along the tree-lined streets of the sleepy little town, walking to the music and the rhythm of the factory. We worked and played and studied and prayed, never thought about tomorrow because we had today. And we all grew up, but we all were raised, but we never grew up in the sleepy little town. But you can never go home, never go home. Memories and dreams are all we're ever going to know. All the things that were then are never going to be that way again. And the sleepy little town just isn't the way that it was then. The sun came up on the sleepy little town one morning, and the fathers stayed home from work at the factory. And the school bells rang, and we still sang America the Beautiful. But the rhythm was gone, it stopped playing our song. The factory had died, and life moves on in the sleepy little town every morning. The name of it is Sleepy Little Town, and yeah, it's about Hopedale. Okay, Buzz, tune faster. I could get him back because he actually did write a song named Dust on the Looms. I don't know all the lyrics, sadly.
I got it here. You want to read it? Trouble is
No, I don't know. I love being hung out to dry.
The sun has killed us.
How hard can it be to tune 4 notes?
But, you know, it's only rock and roll, they say, so it's good enough. The government work and rock and roll.
We haven't rehearsed these songs. We're just kind of trying to fill in and... Gosh, I don't think the three of us have played together for 20 years. Well, actually more like an hour, but that doesn't quite count. It's the spirit of the thing.
Dave Mead back there goes a long way, even back further than Bill with me. I was in the rock and roll band in high school. We'd have Battle of the Bands, and then all of a sudden this band from the Milford area came to Northbridge, a band called The Witness. I don't know if you remember that band, but he was the bass player, and he just, of course, being a couple of years older than me, now it's not so bad, but these guys were always, you know, you looked up to somebody 2 years older, and his band was just an incredible band. They did Rolling Stones, and that's before these guys be really predecessors to what? To Aerosmith today. So I mean, they're all, not me, I'm not a friend of Aerosmith, but these guys truly are very good friends with the people in Aerosmith. But when this guy came to town, he was the bass player. Thick curly hair, like this. I don't know if you remember him back then, but all the girls went nuts over him. And then to think that in the early 70s I began to play with him in a band for a short time with Bill, and then I had to leave because my wife just didn't want me playing music for a while. Then it got worse.
It wasn't the music, it was the associations.
I think you could be right. If it was the association, she probably would have let me do that. That was a band that was making money.
We aren't that avaricious.
No.
What in God's name are we doing?
You know the words to this one. It's a Pete Seeger tune. Actually, he took it from the Bible, the book of Ecclesiastes, and did wondrous things with it. And of course, our favorite band of all time, the Byrds. I dropped everything when I heard the Byrds, and that was it. That's what I wanted to be. So I've been doing this song not so long, maybe 50 years, 40 something years. Never get it right because I don't play it enough. But they don't want to hear this kind of stuff in nightclubs, or it's just too bad. It's a shame. But it's a song called Turn, Turn, Turn. Roger, this one's for you.
To everything turn
time to every purpose under heaven. A time of love, a time of hate, a time of war, a time of peace, a time you may embrace, a time to refrain from embracing. Everything turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. Any time to every purpose under heaven. A time to gain, a time to lose, a time to win, a time to sow, a time of love, a time for hate, a time for peace. I swear it's not too late. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's another great bird song. If he'll help me on this one. He's going to sing the lead on this, and he used to, but he can't remember the words. Make them up as you go. That's all.
Times of freedom flashing, flashing for the warrior whose strength is not to fight, flashing for the refugee on the unarmed road of life, and for each unhandled deadly soul placed inside a jail. Upon the chimes of freedom flashing, under the clouds' white curtain, in a far-off counter clash, and the hypnotic splattered mist was slowly lifting. Electric lights still struck like arrows, fired but for the one to drift, but not be kept from drifting. Tolling for the aching ones whose wounds cannot be nursed, for the countless confused, accused, excused, strung out ones and worse, and for each and every hung up person, the whole wide universe. The upon the chimes of freedom flashing.
Alrighty, thank you so much.
Thank God they don't have the farmer's market here today. We'd be pelted with vegetables. First man on Jupiter. It's good to be alive. Nose cone from my rocket ship is pointed toward the sky. My air I breathe from bottles. My food is packed in tin. It's going to be 5 long years before I'm back to you again. My plastic mask, it keeps that poison air from getting in. My metal suit is made to fit so tightly against my skin. And even if you were standing here, I could not feel your touch because of my fine spacesuit and these bulky, heavy gloves. And it's 5 long years to planet Earth, and it's 5 long years to home, and I'm just a weary traveler beneath these 60 moons. And if I could have just anything in this whole wide universe, I'd only ask to be back home and lying next to her. What happens if I get back home to find mankind dead and gone, laid to waste by factory stacks and 1,000,000 atom bombs? I'd find a place of just a trace where moments we had shared, and I'd just lay back, still alone, and I just shut off my air. Long years to planet Earth, and it's 5 long years to home, and I'm just a weary traveler beneath these 60 moons. And if I could have just anything in that whole wide universe, I'd only ask to be back home and lying next to her.
visit the Friends of Aiden Ballou at aidenballou.org or on Facebook, Friends of Aiden Ballou. Thank you so much for coming out, and it was a great afternoon. Thank you.